Welcome to the Patrick Riggin Show here on video. What I want to talk about today is a voter's quorum. Now, this has come up a couple of times on the radio show. What it is my solution to the two-party lock that the Republican and the Democrat parties have on our political system. For instance, right now, when you go to the ballot, when you go to vote, you'll have your ballot here, and you'll have some candidates on the ballot. You'll have a Democrat candidate, you'll have a Republican candidate, and you'll even have a Libertarian candidate nowadays, since they're getting on more and more ballots. And then you can vote for whoever you want to vote for. Well, and you also have some people down here that you don't, Constitution Party, Green Party. You've heard of them, but you'll just see them on the ballot. So right now you have Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, and some other people. Well, this election, let's say the Democrat is a scumbag and the Republican is a swindler. And the Libertarian, again, like I said, you just really don't know. So they're just kind of unknown. And then these other people are kind of unknown. So you can vote for the scumbag, you can vote for the swindler, or you can just vote for the unknown person you're really not sure about. Not really a great choice. So let's say in this election, you have 500 people that vote for the scumbag Democrat. You have 600 people that vote for the swindler Republican, or you have 200 people vote for the unknown Libertarian. And let's say you got 200 people down here as well. So you're looking at, what's that, 11, 12, 13, 14, 1,500 votes altogether in this race. Let's say this is a House race. So you had the scumbag, the swindler, or someone you don't know. And let's see, the swindler won with 600 votes because all they have to do is get the majority of the votes. That's it, an absolute majority, and they go in, even though they're a swindler. So now you've got a swindler sitting in your House seat. But you could have had a scumbag sitting in your House seat. Wouldn't that have been better? Or even not as bad, but an unknown. You really didn't know much about the Libertarians, so you would have had an unknown person sitting in that House seat. Not a great selection for this election. Let's say in this district you got 10,000. Let's just keep it numbers even, 10,000 eligible voters in this whole district. So you had 1,500 people showing up to vote, or 1,500 people voted for this actual election, because a lot of people don't like the people running, so they don't want to vote for them. And there's not anything down here that says, I don't like anyone running. So this would be a choice. And you could check that. I don't like anyone running. Unfortunately, we don't have this. So it would be nice, though. And even then, let's say you only get 1,000 people voting that's just 2,500 votes, again, out of 10,000. Now, when this comes up on the radio program, I have people that call in and say, well, Patrick, just more people need to vote. They don't like voting for a scumbag or a swindler or just someone they don't know. So more voting isn't the answer, and you don't have this down here. So again, 1,500 votes, the swindler goes in. Now, how can we fix this? It's what I call a voter's quorum. Voter's quorum. And if you know what a quorum is, you know exactly where I'm going with this. So let's say you're in Congress. Well, if you want to do something in the House of Representatives, you have to have a quorum. You want to do something in the Senate, guess what? You have to have a quorum. If you sit on a board of directors for some corporation or nonprofit or something, they have to have a quorum in order to do stuff, to pass things. If your neighborhood has a homeowners association, if they have a meeting, they have to have a quorum. These places have to have quorums. Why is that? Because they've determined that there's a minimum number of people that need to show up and vote in order to carry on the business of this greater number of people. This is what's happening here in the House and the Senate. That's the first thing that will happen. Mr. Speaker, I move for a quorum call. And the clerk calls the roll and makes sure that there's a quorum of enough people here, representatives, to vote on something, legally vote on something. So how would this work in election, this sort of election? Well, you go to the or you go to your polling place and you have your ballot. And we'll say we have this House race here. And you've got the Republican, the Democrat, the Libertarian, and these other people. And we'll use this example. We've got 500 over here, 500, 600, and 200, and then 200. So that was 25 or 15, yeah. 1,500 votes in that House race. Again, you have 10,000 eligible voters. Okay, let's say also on this ballot you have a Senate race. And you're trying to fill a Senate seat. Again, you've got the Republican, Democrat, and Libertarian, and other people. And let's say in this race you pull 3,000. Let's say this one pulls 3,500. The Libertarian pulls 2,000. And let's say 1,000 over down here. So what's that? 65, 66, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9,500 votes. So just about everybody that could eligible vote voted for that. And that's the Senate race. Same ballot, hugely different turnout. Why? Because you have in this race a swindler, a scumbag, and someone you didn't really know. No one wanted to vote in this race. What's happening in this race? Well, you had people in here that everyone liked. Everyone got behind them. Everybody wanted to vote for them. So you had this huge turnout here. Again, 9,500 votes. Let's say also you have a city charter amendment that's also on this, because you always have something like this, a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo. And I don't know anybody who reads this stuff. And you have a yes and no, and you can vote for it or you can not vote for it or vote against it. So let's say in this you have 1,500 vote for it and 1,000 vote against it. That'd give you 2,500 votes in this city charter amendment. So what's happening now? Well, we're operating under a voter's quorum. Not like here where you just get the most votes. Here is a voter's quorum, and we've determined, let's say 8,000 out of 10,000 is the quorum. 8,000 votes is the quorum. So in the House race, 1,500 votes didn't make the quorum. This race is invalidated. What happens there? We'll get back to it. A Senate race, 9,500 votes is more than 8,000. So this race is valid. And what happens here is the Democrat won, right? 3,500? Yeah, Democrat won. So the Democrat goes into office just like they normally would, just like we do now. Whoever's in there now vacates when their term's up, their term starts, they go back into office. City Charter Amendment, again, 2,500 votes. It's not a quorum. So this is invalid. So what happens in these invalid races and this invalid city charter thing? Okay, well, the House here didn't pull enough votes because, again, no one wanted to vote for a scumbag or a swindler, and they didn't trust the unknown person, so they just didn't vote. We know they didn't vote because you had 9,500 votes in this race on this same ballot. Now, it may not be as big as this. You could have, with an 8,000 vote quorum, you could have 8,500 votes here and 7,700 votes here or something like that. But again, one race still didn't make the quorum and one did. But you know, these many people showed up because you had 9,500 votes over here, but only 1,500 here. So there's a bunch of people, I guess 8,000 of them, that looked at this and decided, I don't want to vote for any of them, so they did not. But they did vote in this race. So 9,500 votes, again, that person goes in, 1,500 votes, this seat gets vacated. Whoever's sitting in that House seat, when their term's up, they vacate the seat. What happens now? This seat sits empty. You don't have anyone going back into this House seat. Now, I get wails of panic. People saying, you have to have someone in a House seat. No, you don't. This government belongs to these 10,000 people right here. The number of eligible voters in this district, that's who this government belongs to. So if they don't want to have someone sitting in this House seat, a scumbag, a swindler, or someone they don't know, and they don't mind leaving it empty, then it's up to these 10,000 people. That's their business. It's not the business of anybody but those 10,000 people, because this is their part of the government. So if this House seat sits empty, that's their business. If it starts becoming a problem, then these 10,000 people will get together and they'll run people who will get the voters excited and turn out and vote for them, like they did in this Senate race, where they had this huge turnout. The House race, not so much, because you could choose between a swindler and a scumbag and someone you really didn't know. So no one really wanted to vote there. And again, to correct this, they'll have a better candidates running in order to draw more votes. What happens in the city charter? Again, the yeses won. Obviously, there's a city charter already here, and they're amending it or adding something to it or something. Well, it doesn't pass, because even though it passed yes-wise numerically, you didn't have enough votes. You didn't have a quorum to for this to be validated. So whatever this says now stays the same. Nothing changes. And again, it's going to be up to the yes and the no people to convince enough voters out of this 10,000 to show up and vote for this thing next time if you want it to pass. Again, all of this government belongs to these people, and they're responsible for it. So if this House seat sits empty, or if this House seat gets filled and this seat sits empty, that's, again, their business, and they'll take care of fixing this problem should it become a problem. And that's really a voter's quorum in a nutshell. If you have any questions on this, you can post them down below here and we'll answer them when we see them. You can hit the subscribe button so you'll be subscribed to our video channel. And you can also hit the little bell down there and it'll tell you when we post new videos such as this. All right, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember, liberty begins with you and your mind. Also, taxation is theft.